Welcome back guys. Assassin's Creed Shadows is now available on PC platform. In this video I'll be testing the Ubisoft Connect version of the game on my Windows PC that has a Ryzen 5700X 3D processor and an RTX 2070 Super GPU. Big thanks to Ubisoft for providing me with a review copy of the game. I hope there isn't any performance difference between the Ubisoft Connect and Steam versions of the game. The game is set in 1579 during the late Sengoku period of Japan. Narrates the story of an African samurai, Yasuke, and a female shinobi, Naoe, both of whom embark on intertwining journeys as they face their demons and usher in a new era for Japan. We get to play as Yasuke only for a brief moment in the game's prologue. The game quickly switches to Naoe, takes us through Naoe's backstory. We need to complete multiple missions, play the game for hours before unlocking Yasuke. Now Ubisoft is using the latest version of DLSS Upscaler in this game, 310.2.1, but out of the box the model preset is not set to K. It's not the transformer model of DLSS 4, they are using the CNN model of it. You can very easily switch to model preset K by using NVIDIA app, but I'm not sure if DLSS auto exposure setting is enabled or not in this game. It does not show up in DLSS debug overlay and this setting cannot be toggled from NVIDIA app. So I'll be using Nightax free Optiscaler mod to enable it. We'll also use the mod to inject Nukem9's DLSS G2 FSR 3 mod. The game does support FSR 3.1. Even the Upscaler is decoupled from FSR frame generation, but the official FSR frame generation implementation does not support NVIDIA Reflex, which helps in cutting down the latency. With Nukem9's mod installed, I observed less input delay compared to official FSR frame generation implementation. First, I'll run the game without any mod install, showcase the base performance. In order to verify the details of DLSS Upscaler like its version and model preset, I'll be using DLSS debug overlay. In order to enable the overlay, I'll be using the registry code provided by Emos. Just copy these lines. Create a new text file anywhere on your PC. Name it anything you want. I'll just name it as overlay. Change its extension from .txt to .reg. Hit enter. Yes. Right click, open with Notepad, paste the lines here, click on file, click on save, close and run this registry file. This will enable the DLSS debug overlay. In order to disable it, just replace the number 4 with 0. Click on file, click on save, close and run this registry file. I'll just revert this change as I want to enable the DLSS debug overlay. Right click, open. Okay, we are done here. I am using the latest GeForce Game Ready GPU driver 572.83. For Assassin's Creed Shadows, I have enabled VSYNC from NVIDIA app. That's it. Game size is around 109 GB. I have installed it on an NVMe based SSD. In-game settings, display mode set to borderless window. In-game VSYNC off, resolution Full HD. No FPS cap applied. Upscaler set to DLSS using its quality preset. Frame generation disabled for the time being. Sharpen strength 0.25. Motion blur and chromatic aberration disabled. I am using the high preset. Ray trace global illumination cannot disable this setting. I have set it to diffuse hideout only. This setting will work in a hideout. A hideout is basically a base of operations. Ray tracing quality is set to medium with the high preset. And this will tank the performance. Texture streaming pool size set to low. My GPU has 8 GB of physical memory. I'll just set post processing to low. Cannot disable ray tracing in this game. Hair strand set to play only. Apply. I'm playing as Naoe, standing at the entrance of a hideout. Yeah, here FPS is close to 30. Hitting the GPU bottleneck, VRAM usage is close to 7.3 GB. Game is very heavy on the GPU. Even on the low settings, game was GPU bound. CPU performance was not an issue. Okay, so in the fields we are getting 30 FPS. I'll just sprint through the pond now. Check out the DLSS debug overlay in the bottom left corner. Render preset used is E. Version of the Upscaler 310.2. Base resolution 720p upscale to Full HD resolution. Auto exposure setting detail is not mentioned. I'll just drop the preset to medium now. If I'm not wrong, the latest version of DLSS Upscaler is 310.2.1, not 310.2.0. Okay, I'll just set the overall preset to medium. Ray tracing settings are set to low with the medium preset. Post effects set to low. So many settings are available. Hair strand set to off. I'll just set it to player only. Estimated VRAM usage 5.6 GB. Apply. Reload. It's the same sequence. Now we are getting close to 50 FPS. Performance is way better than how it was when the game was running using the high preset. What's with the objectives game's HUD element? The text is enclosed in a blurry box, almost as if the HUD element is superimposed on the game's display. Developers do this to prevent the flickering of the HUD element when we enable FSR frame generation or DLSS frame generation. 50 FPS. No frame pacing issues here. Frame pacing graph is mostly a flat line. Now I'll drop the preset to low. Overall preset set to low. I'll enable hair strands. Player only. Apply. Now we should be getting higher than 60 FPS. Back to the game. Not a big improvement in performance. Not getting 60 FPS. 53 FPS. I was getting close to 50 FPS using the medium preset. Using the low preset, FPS is within a range of 50 to 60. This is disappointing. VRAM usage is close to 6.8 GB, just sprinting around. So better to just run the game using the medium preset and then enable frame generation. I'll showcase official FSR frame generation now. Yeah, 50 to 60 FPS in the low preset. Just set frame generation to FSR. Still using DLSS Upscaler. Apply. Resume the game. Yeah, FPS increased to around 100. Can observe the added amount of smoothness. Game's HUD elements are not flickering, but the DLSS debug overlay is flickering as expected. The overlay is not a part of the game's interface. After verifying the Upscaler's details, just disable it. Switch to A mode. Yeah, I am experiencing some input delay. Just observe the crosshair. Nukem9 Mod will considerably reduce this input delay, all thanks to NVIDIA Reflex. Not observing any stuttering. Some double images will be produced around a character model whenever they are close to left or right edge of the display. See. Observe now his hand, arm. Double images are being produced. I am also observing some artifacts around Naya's character model. Just observe her head against the sky. When I move the camera slowly, a ghosting effect is produced. Better visibility here. Yeah, the ghosting effect is easily noticeable now. So the official FSR frame generation implementation is not perfect. Our shadow will also look a bit blurry during motion. Some post-processing effects can cause the ghosting around the character model. We have seen this happening in other games as well. For example, in Star Wars Outlaws, lens distortion setting was causing the ghosting around the character model. Ubisoft added the setting as an in-game setting via future update. Disabling the setting fixed the issue. However, in this game, there is no option to disable lens distortion. Now I'll be installing Optiscaler and Nukem9 mods. Before installing the mods, make sure FSR frame generation setting is disabled. Upscaler is set to DLSS, frame generation off, post-processing effects disabled. I'll just use the medium preset. From here, just set post effects to low, hair strand set to play only. This is optional. Apply the settings. I'll be using build 0.130 of Nukem9 mod. Can be downloaded for free from Nexus Mods. Just click on this link. Need to have a free Nexus Mods account in order to download any stuff from here. Just click on manual download under Universal. Then click on Slow Download. Download the latest version of DLSS Upscaler from Tech Power Off's website. At the time of recording this video, it's version 310.2.1. Click on Download here. Then click on any of these servers. Download will start. We'll be using the latest nightly build of Optiscaler mod. Can be downloaded for free from Optiscaler's GitHub page. I'll give its link in the description. I'll be using version 0.7.7 preview 7 2025 0320 build. Click on the .7z link here. First I'll install Optiscaler mod. Open the mods archive file. Just copy the highlighted files, 2 of them. Need to paste them in the game's install directory. Open Ubisoft Connect, click on Library, click on the 3 dots below the game's box art, then click on Manage, click on Properties, click on Installation, click on Open Folder. This is the game's install directory. Paste the 2 files here. Change the name of optiscaler.dll file to dxgi.dll. Now I'll be installing Nukem9 Mod. Open its archive file. Open DLL_version folder. Just copy this DLL file. DLSS G2 FSR 3 AMD is better. Need to paste it in the game's install directory. Right here. Now open optiscaler.ini file. There it is. Just need to set FG type to Nukems. Won't be using Optiscaler FSR frame generation. Click on File, click on Save, close this file. Now I'll manually update DLSS Upscaler file. Open the Upscaler's archive file that you downloaded earlier. Just copy this DLL file. Open the game's install directory. Open NV Streamline folder. Open Production folder. Replace the existing version of DLSS Upscaler with the latest version. Paste, replace. Now make sure hardware accelerated GPU scheduling setting is enabled on your PC. Right click anywhere on the desktop, click on display settings, click on graphics, click on advanced graphics settings. From here enable hardware accelerated GPU scheduling setting. If your monitor supports variable refresh rate, enable the setting as well. Now I'll enable VSYNC from NVIDIA control panel. Click on manage 3D settings, click on program settings. From this drop down bar, select Assassin's Creed Shadows. Scroll down to the end, enable VSYNC from here, apply the changes. My monitor is G-Sync compatible. I'll enable the corresponding settings for it. Click on setup G-Sync here, enable the following settings. Enable G-Sync, G-Sync compatible, enable for full screen mode, enable settings for the selected display model. I'll also enable G-Sync compatibility indicator. This step is optional. Click on display here, check this setting G-Sync compatible indicator. Click on your profile in Ubisoft Connect line, click on settings, click on interface. From here uncheck these settings, enable in-game overlay for supported games and display FPS counter in-game. Launch the game. Using the same settings as before. Upscaler set to DLSS, frame generation. We have access to DLSS now, this means the mod is working. First I'll run the game without it. Medium settings. Hairstand set to player only. Open Optiscaler mod menu by pressing the insert keyboard key. From this drop down bar select the Upscaler DLSS version 310.2.1. Same version is showing the DLSS debug overlay. From here just enable HDR setting. Make sure auto exposure setting is enabled as well. Now we can see the status of auto exposure setting. It's on. Base resolution 720p. Upscale to full HD resolution. Click on save and haven't enabled Nukem9 mod yet. DLSS G state off. Okay, we need to change the model preset as well. Check the setting render presets override. Click on the drop down bar next to override preset and just select K from here. Click on apply changes. Yeah, render preset changed to K. Activated the transformer model of DLSS 4. Click on save and close. Back to the game. Yeah, image quality is looking so sharp, clean. Look at the leaves of the tree behind me. FPS is close to 50. I'll just enable mod FSR frame generation now. Set frame generation to DLSS, don't set it to FSR, otherwise mod will not work. Yeah, now we are getting close to 84 FPS with the official FSR frame generation implementation. Hey, we were getting close to 90 FPS, but we were also using the CNN model of DLSS that time. This is the transformer model. It does come with a minor performance hit. Okay, switch to A mode. Wow, literally no input delay. This is amazing. Highly recommended to use Nukem9's mod in this game. Sprinting through the field. Pond now 73 to 80 FPS. Fence is looking so clean with the transformer model compared to CNN model. The fine textures. Game's HUD elements are not flickering, only the DLSS debug OLED is flickering as expected. Okay, now I'll observe now's character model against the sky. Yeah, there are some artifacts around her character model when I move the camera in any direction. See, even official FSR frame generation implementation had this problem. Observe her shadow during sprinting. Minor ghosting is present, very difficult to observe it. Okay, now I'll show you how to disable DLSS debug overlay. Just need to edit the registry file that we created earlier. Notepad. Replace number 4 with 0. Click on file, click on save. Execute this registry file. Okay. Now I'll test some other areas of the game. Disable mod frame generation. Literally sitting on top of Osaka castle. Check out the scale of the map. It's a big one. Here we are getting close to 60 FPS. Medium preset. I'll perform the leap of faith. Heavily populated area. FPS stays close to 60. Showcase some combat. Oh no, I pressed the wrong key. I'll just spam the melee attacks. This is the game running on medium difficulty, but I'll be honest, if you're used to playing Souls-like games, you won't find the game very difficult. Better to play the game on high difficulty. I'll just enable frame generation now. Set frame generation to DLSS. Apply. Back to the game. Yeah, FPS increased to around 100. Even have a grappling hook. Use it to scale the buildings. Game is running very smoothly. I'll try to execute parries with frame generation enabled. Lock onto my target. That did not work. I was going for an aerial attack. Assassinate. There you go. Waiting for the guy to attack me. Successful parry. Yeah, the mod does a good job of keeping the latency in check. Now I'll test another area. Disable frame generation. I'm near Sakai village, exploring the open world on horseback. Very impressed by the image quality here. Farmland. I'll just enter the village. Sprint. We can enable Pathfinder mode in this game. It will guide us towards our objective. Just need to hold the tab key. Then follow the white line. There it is. Village is nearby. 50 FPS here. Animation is looking a bit choppy. I'll just enable frame generation now. Animals around me. Frame generation set to DLSS. FPS increased to around 85. Can observe the added amount of smoothness. One thing that I did not like about this game is that the FPS during the cutscenes is capped at 30. Yes, you heard it right. Frame generation does not work during cutscenes. It's a bit annoying to see the FPS suddenly dropping from 100 to 30 during the cutscenes. I have seen something similar happening in the case of Final Fantasy 16, but there is a mod for that game which disables the 30 FPS cap in the cutscene. Not aware of any such mod for this game. I hope Ubisoft will remove this 30 FPS cap from the cutscenes via future update. Now I did not encounter any stuttering issues, but I was expecting a better base performance on low settings than the current performance. I was getting around 50 to 60 FPS on my RTX 2070 Super GPU. I was expecting close to 80 FPS. I think ray tracing is the culprit here. We cannot disable ray tracing settings in this game, just like what we have seen in the case of Star Wars Outlaws. That's it with the video guys. I hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.